like a bird on a tree. I'm just sitting here, I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together, it's so beautiful, you and me. We're meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. You and me, meant to be outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
Hello, cousin. I am Uncle Mike. Why is this like so far like weird? There you go. I am Uncle Mike, your favorite gamer's favorite uncle. And I guess May the 4th be with you, since it's May 4th. And tonight we are going to be back on Microsoft Flight Simulator on the Xbox Series S, doing our first flight in the TBM 930, which is a single-engine high-performance turboprop. We're going to be flying over from Wichita over to the Denver area, and I'll talk more about that. But first, thumbs up, cousin, because you are amazing. Also, click that like button if you do, because that helps activate the YouTube algorithm. And subscribe if you haven't. And so yeah, we will game on here tonight. But also a few little announcements is that this weekend is Aunt Cindy, your favorite aunt, and my 28th wedding anniversary on Saturday. So there won't be any live streams or anything Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday evening. We'll have to wait and see about that. But tomorrow I will be live streaming in the afternoon and evening the new game Trek to Yomi. It's a new game on Xbox that comes out tomorrow, so check that out. You'll see already that I have posted and scheduled the live stream for that game, because we have completed pretty much the games that we had on there, and so we're moving on to play some other games. So I am flying here tonight because that was something then that we could have that really kind of terminated, and I didn't really start a new game tonight. We just will do a flight. And so yeah, we are flying here from, let's go jump over here to the airplane. Here is the TBM 930. We are going to go ahead and do a cold start. So it is just sitting here on the tarmac in Wichita. Reason why I chose Wichita was actually for two reasons. But one of the reasons why I chose Wichita here at the last minute was because I did my internship at Cessna Aircraft Company, which is actually based on the field, which is actually just back behind us over there. At the end of the runway, so way back over there, is the Cessna facility, where I did my internship when I was at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Prescott, Arizona. So this is where I did my internship. So I've flown out of this airport in real life. Also, I picked this because right now there's bad weather in that part of the country, and so we are live players, live weather here. And so as you can see, it is dark and gloomy, wet, rainy, maybe some thunderstorms in the area. We will pick up the weather here in a little bit. I have already in the flight sim filed an IFR, an instrument flight plan, from Wichita to Denver Centennial Airport. So that is already loaded into our flight computer, if you'd like to say, into our avionics. Oh, look at that. There's an airplane taking off. That is so cool. Look at that. Don't know if that's a player or not because I have name plates off, but I do have live traffic, live weather, and all that on. So, but yeah, so that is what we are going to do tonight. It's only about maybe an hour and a half flight or something like that once we're in the air. Depends if we have any deviations or anything like that once we get up in the air, what ATC. So we'll be talking to ATC the whole way. We'll probably need to be doing some type of instrument approach, whether it's a precision approach using the Instrument Landing System or ILS, or whether it be some type of radio navigation, RNAV approach into Denver Centennial. But I wanted to fly something that was a little bit more high performance for you rather than the Cessna 172. I will always do flights still in the Cessna 172, but I thought here getting into something that's a little bit more high performance, a little faster, a little higher, and all of that way you can have some fun. So, but we're going to kind of do this as a study level here, which means we are going to go ahead and use the checklist and everything. I haven't really been doing that, but this is a new airplane that I've been learning how to fly. I really like it. It really pairs really well on the Xbox Series S because it seems like the throttle, with all the having to use A and B buttons on the throttle, that the throttle responds much quicker than it does in the Cessna using the buttons, and so it's actually a little bit easier to fly on the sticks. So the avionics are more advanced, but it's really fun. So yeah, so let's jump into the cockpit here, and you can see it is literally a cold, dark start. And so one of the things that we'll do is we'll get some lights on. So one of the things that I know is that the battery is right here. So let's we got to move this, open up this cage here, and now we can turn the battery on. So at least now we have everything warming up, which means we can come up here and we should have then, there we go, basically like an interior floodlight. So everything is warming up. We can come over here, turn this on. That way we get our engine instruments for start. So you can see it's already a much more advanced aircraft than what we're used to with the Cessna 172.
Pause system test.
All right, everything is looking good there. As usual, I will go ahead and remove the control columns, the yokes. That way we can just see everything a little better. And so here we are. Like I said, I've already filed the flight plan. So we can come up here to these. It's really cool. It's all touchscreen down here. Let our flight plan load in. And so this will load in. There is our flight. So we've got here, we should be going up to about 30,000 feet, or flight level 300. So because we'll go above 18,000 feet, that's where we get into the flight levels. So everything is looking good here. So we'll just go ahead and bring up the checklist, and we are going to run through all the checklists here. So this is really neat about the flight sim, is that it can really teach you, and this is why I have been comfortable going ahead and flying this aircraft, because it has all the checklists. So over here you can click on like exterior lights, and you can click on this little eyeball, and it will then show you, right? So it then comes over here, and then it shows you, see all the buttons. So we'll go ahead and then turn on nav and strobe, and then we can go ahead and tick that item. So now interior lights, and this is the inside. So like I said, that's how you work this. So we'll go ahead and just turn those off, 'cause that's what it says. We're just doing an inside inspection here. So interior lights are off, except for we have our floodlight and stuff. So we'll go ahead and take that. The crash lever, we turned on everything, so I'm going to keep the battery on. So we're going to go ahead and tick that, because I really want battery power, so I can have the lights on since it's kind of dark outside. And then it says starter is off. So right here's our starter. The starter is off. Ignition goes to auto, which it already is. Auxiliary boost pump, which is right here, is off. So let's go ahead and check some of those off, catch up here. Fuel selector, which is right here, is on manual. That is good. The autopilot and trims, which is over here, is off. That is good. All the DI stuff, so again, if we don't know where it's at, we can click on that and then it shows us. So all the DI stuff is off. So we can go ahead and tick that off our checklist. Scroll down. Inertial separator, which is right there, so it is off. Parking brake is on. Bleed is off. That's for our pressurization, because we're going to need pressurization as we get higher and higher. Throttle is in idle cutoff. Yes, it is. There's our throttle right there, and idle cutoff. And fuel selector is on at least one of them. Yes, it is. Right now it looks like it's on the left. And so let's go ahead and tick off all that stuff. There we go. We are now done with that. So now we can go over to the before starting the engine checklist. So we've already put the crash lever up. That's the bar. So let's go ahead and reset and look over here. So that's that bar right here that we raised up. So we can see things. I'm going to turn on, there we go, the panel lights. So you can see everything. So there we go. That is check. Oops. Crash lever is now up. Battery, we've already turned the battery on. All right, so generator now. Click that up to main. If you come over here and you want to look and see, so you can see. So it's the middle right there is on main. That is good. De-ice system lights. So we can come over here. And that's that little light right here. So you can turn those on. You can see that, hold it down. All those little lights come on. So that is good. The landing. So we can test the lights for that. Everything's looking good. You can see they flash. That looks good. So that test is good. And now let's check fuel on board. Here we go. Come on up here. And we've got about 3/4 of fuel. So everything is okay there. We are looking good. All right, tick that item. All right, let's get this puppy started here. So, all right. And residual ITT, we're at full cold start. So ITT is 0, so I don't need to worry about that. All right, so let's go ahead. Ignition. This is where we need to start looking. So we'll come over here. And now ignition goes to auto. So let's see here. It is already in auto, so that is good. Auxiliary boost pump right here. That goes to on.
Aural warning, okay.
All right, so that's just, we've now got on the dummy panel down here. We're going to have some things telling us what's happening. All right, we're going to come down here and take a look around. Don't see anybody. We can go outside of the airplane. The area is clear, so I like that. So we'll go ahead and check that off. And now a lot of things are going to happen here. We're going to hit the starter for 2 seconds. We're going to watch then. This is really then the percent that the turbine is spinning, which is right there. So it's not the prop. This is the actual jet engine, the turbine. So we're going to watch that. Once that gets to about 13%, we're going to go ahead and we're going to apply fuel to the throttle. And then we're actually going to watch the ITT to come up. And it needs to not go higher than 870 degrees, or that's a hot start. And then we'll also watch the turbine here and make sure that it goes to about 30% before in about 30 seconds. And the reason being is that way then we got a hung start. So that's what we're looking for. And then we'll monitor all of the pressures, oil pressure and all that as we go through the starter. So that's what's going to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to back out here So we can basically activate the starter. So here we go. 1, 2, all right. There we go. You can see the engine is turning. And right there, we're at 14%, so we'll come down here. Active in some fuel. And now what we'll do is we'll look here. So here comes the ITT, here comes the temperature. There goes NG. So NG is above 30 already. So that's good. Here comes the temperature up right there, that ITT. All right, everything is looking good so far. ITT is coming up. NG is held at 60. ITT looks like it's leveling out about 488. So I'm not too worried about anything. So let's go ahead and tick off all this stuff. So let's tick off that. ITT looks good. We'll tick that off. Oil pressure looks good. I can see it from right here. So oil pressure looks good. All right. Let's go make sure that so come up here. We can actually slide on over. Starter here, which is right here. You can see the starter has automatically gone to the off position. So that is good. And that's it. So now we've got a good start. All right. So now we can go to the after engine. And so now that we've got a start, let's go ahead and move it over to flight idle. There we go. And we've got a good start going on here. So we are in low flight idle now. So we can go ahead and tick that off. And let's just go ahead and check our engine instruments here. So oil pressure looks good, oil looks good, NG looks good, ITT looks good, prop, torque, everything looks good. Yep, I like what I see here. All right, so let's go ahead and check that off. All right, auxiliary boost pump. That is over here now. That goes up to auto. Fuel selector button. And so fuel selector goes to auto. So that's up there, so we're good there. Take that off. Fuel selector looks good. Fuel selector shift button. So let's go ahead and see. That is okay. That is in. There it is. So we'll test that. Can't really see what happens, but when you do that, what it does is it's automatically down here. It's automatically switching that over. So see, it's on the right tank right now. And so now if we come up here and we hit that button again and we look down, now it's on the left tank. So that's good. We shall tick that off also. All right, so now we're gonna come over here and let's go ahead and get our autopilot now. That comes to on. So let's tick that off. Generator, make sure that it is on main, which it is. Take that off. So if you want to see that, that is right there. And you can see that you've got to like get, you know, kind of up to see that it's in the middle position, but it is on main. And now we'll come down and bleed. Bleed is right here. This is for our pressurization. And we'll go ahead and just put it on auto for now. Now, as you can see, we've got some other things here that are on our dummy panel. So it says no heat over here. So let's go ahead and come over here. And so that comes on and that comes on. I don't think that's in the checklist. We still got a warning that the parking brake is on, but we want that on. So, all right, so we turned the bleed on. So there we go. All right, before taxi checklist, inertial separator comes on. I'm going to go ahead and go through this before we get the weather and then talk to ATC and get our clearance. Flight controls, flaps are up And it also wants us to go ahead and it wants us to feather. So feather once and feather twice. It's probably to get the oil in the feathering system. That's probably what that is all about. Whoops, I'm still in. There we go. All right. So with that, parking brake is still on. That is the inertial separator coming on. So we can acknowledge that on the master caution.
Aural warning, okay.
All right, so everything is, we're ready to go except for our lights. So let's go ahead and, since we're sitting here on, let's go ahead and turn on the lights. We'll go ahead and turn on taxi lights. You can see that it is raining out, so that's why, one of the reasons why I picked this area was because I wanted to fly in bad weather. So we are pretty much ready to go. So before lineup, you can see here, parking brake is on. I've already turned on all the lights already. Ignition, boost pump comes to auto, fuel selector, we got all those. We can just check all that stuff. All of that is already on. That's on. Then we just need to trim. So everything looks good. We're going to be squawking before that. So let's go ahead and turn off the checklist. And let's bring up ATC here. And let's listen to the weather, which is not going to be good.
Wichita Airport information, Charlie 0000 Zulu. Wind 337 at 10. Visibility 1 and heavy
1 mile.
rain. Sky condition, ceiling 1,700 feet
Cold.
overcast.
Cooler.
Temperature 12. Dew point
All right.
10. Altimeter 29.901. ILS runway 1 right and ILS runway 1 left in use. Landing
All
and
right,
departing
1-1. We're
runway
going to be
1
going to
right
the
and
heading to the
runway 1
north
left.
for takeoff.
All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact. You have
All
Charlie.
right, turn to clearance delivery here.
Wichita Airport information Delta 0000 Zulu.
So
Wind 337.
tune clearance delivery. We'll go ahead and I want to talk about something here. This is different here in this aircraft than what we had in the Cessna. We now have our backup altimeter here. These are like our backup instruments. And so we set that barometer, and then we actually have this barometer there we set that is for down here on our main display, on our pilot display here. So that's why we've got 2 barometers up here that we need to set to 29901. There we go. So there we go. All right, let's go ahead and request clearance delivery.
Wichita clearance delivery Daher, November
What's
36 uniform. Mike ready to copy IFR clearance to Centennial.
In Denver, Centennial, Denver.
Daher November 36 uniform, Mike is cleared to Centennial Airport is filed. Takeoff runway 1 left climb and maintain 14,000 feet. Departure frequency is 126.7 squawk 0551.
All right, so we'll go ahead and acknowledge that.
Daher November tree 6 uniform Mike cleared to Centennial Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 1 left climb and maintain 14,000 feet. Departure on 126.7 squawk 0551.
Daher uniform, Mike readback is correct. Contact ground on 121.9er when ready to taxi. Good day.
All right, so a couple things that we can do here. One is let's check our squawk 0551. So we'll come down here. We'll go to Navcom. 0551 is already programmed in. That is great. We can also go ahead and set, I will zoom in here on our main display. And so right here what we can do is we can go ahead and set it. They're telling us to, after takeoff, is to climb and maintain 14,000 feet. So we shall go to 14,000 feet. We'll go ahead and set that in. I've got that control set up on my keyboard. We will then come over here and I will do a flight level change, and I will go ahead and I will tell the autopilot here in the system that I want to climb out at 160 knots, right? So what we'll do is we'll go flight level change. Whoops, I hit the wrong button. Change that back to 14,000 feet. and now we'll do a flight level change, and I will set our climb out then to, we'll say, 160 knots. So the plane doesn't have auto throttle, but based on the pitch, that's what it will do. So if I continue to do like main takeoff thrust, the plane will pitch steeper and climb out at 160. If I would back off the throttles, means we would lose power, then the autopilot would automatically pitch down. It's not an auto throttle, it's basically an auto pitch. So we got to be careful about that because we can't actually stall the aircraft. So we'll set that for 160. And then we also know that we're taking off on runway 1, so I can set the blue heading bug down here on our horizontal situation indicator right there, that to 010 roughly, because that's what we're going to be taking off on runway 1 left here. So all right, so the other thing now we can do is we can contact ground and go ahead and request taxi for IFR.
Wichita Ground, Daher, November Tree, 6 Uniform Mike with Delta ready to taxi IFR.
Daher November Tree 6 Uniform Mike taxi 2 and hold short of runway 1 left using taxiway Golf Juliet Delta cross runway Tree 2 Delta Echo. Contact tower on 118.2 when ready.
All right.
Taxi 2 and hold short runway 1 left using taxiway Golf Juliet Delta cross runway Tree 2 Delta Echo cross runway 1 left Bravo Daher Uniform Mike.
All right, so there we go. You can also see that, so we don't have any more problems with taxi, especially in this bad weather, low light and stuff. I have gone ahead and turned on the taxi ribbon, so it tells us where to go. So, all right, so parking brake comes off. Like I said, this one just needs a little bit of throttle and it really starts moving. One of the reasons why I like it. And we are off. Then we get to the end of the runway. We'll go ahead and do our before lineup checklist, which is we'll be dropping flaps and everything. So it is a nasty evening here in Wichita, but that's what I want to do. I want to make it kind of a challenging flight for us. It's our first flight in the TBM 930. It's also our first flight doing IFR. There we go. So this is another thing that's great about the flight simulator. So if you're interested in flight simulator, one, it's on Game Pass, and two, you can see you can put on all these assistant things. So I have gone ahead and put on the assistance of the taxi ribbon. And so if you don't, if you can't go and you can't look up, like I can look over here on Sky Vector on my second monitor, and I can look over there and I can get the layout of the airport, and we can kind of just figure it out. Or you can just do this, and so I figured, for the ease and also showing some of the opportunities that you can do in Flight Simulator on the Xbox Series S, these are some of the assistances that you have if you're new to flight simming, which is then amazing. All right, everything's looking good. Again, once we get down here and we're holding short, we'll go through our pre-lineup checklist. We'll get the flaps going and all this, make sure our instruments are all set for everything, because there's some instruments that we need to reset, get ready for flight. It's going to be fun because I'm kind of expecting this cloud layer to be pretty low since it's raining, and so we're going to kind of bust out and then maybe have like a nice sunset or something. This might be pretty interesting. So you can see we've got a pretty long taxi here. So right now it's kind of a taxi simulator, as we've got over a mile to go to the end of runway 1 left. But that's what happens. We don't have much traffic going on right now, so we can taxi out. So for that reason, we can go ahead and bring up our checklist. And so we can go ahead and do the before lineup. So brakes, landing lights are already on, nav lights are on, strobe lines are on, ignition, we've done all this. So let's come down here. So trims, we'll look at those. Bleed is already on. We need to go ahead and put flaps in. So here we go. We'll put 1 notch of flaps. You can see the flaps actually coming down there. So flaps are down. Altitude is already set. Transponder we've already checked. So we are good there. So now our takeoff checklist. So props, release the brakes, torque, rotation, speed, and everything looks good. So you can see that it tells you to tap the brakes. That's really, really cool. So if you go watch like Steve-O Knievo and stuff like that, you know, he'll talk about tapping the brakes and all that before putting the gear up after positive rate. So, okay, so we are pretty much ready to go, except for there's one thing we need to do. So once we have a straightaway here on the taxi, we'll go look at this, because we need to make sure our avionics are all ready and set, because this is a IFR flight using GPS navigation, and so we need to make sure that our instruments and everything are actually in GPS mode, not in VOR mode, which we've been doing flying the Cessna 172 VOR mode. So now that we've got kind of a straightaway here, we can go ahead and go inside the cockpit. And if I drop down here, you can see that the active nav is actually localizer. We don't want that. What we want is GPS. So there we go. So now we're ready to, really ready to fly, but we can do a final check once we come up here to 1 left. Looking good. And we can do a final check, make sure flaps are down, that they're indicated down. We can then look at the lever, the flap lever on the control, on the center column. We can also look at the instruments that indicate if the flaps are down. So not a big reason to look outside the window here. We'll always kind of have, I'm a visual pilot, I'm a private pilot, so you really learn to, hey, keep your head outside the cockpit when you fly VFR. Don't be down looking here, look out, look around. And so that's what I've learned. So we'll be doing that quite a bit, but for this flight you can almost just fly it most of the way like that, because it completely is, we're doing instrument flight. I mean, so right, but we'll get above these clouds. It should be pretty nice once we get up there, and plus we're heading with the sun, so we should be chasing the sunset, so that'd be good instead of running away from it. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and bring up our checklist. We can go ahead and see if we can check off some stuff here. So takeoff, rotation, speed, prop, everything. Now everything's looking real good. I'm not too worried about anything that we've got there. So we can come then as we taxi here, kind of get us going straight. So that way we don't have to worry about that. So you can see the flaps are indicated takeoff position, and on the center column there they are, right down here. So yep, we're looking good. So yeah, everything's looking good. But yeah, it's a little bit more complicated airplane than the Cessna that we have been flying. So that is why I am using the checklist and everything. You see the avionics, completely glass cockpit. The neat thing is you can see that because it's a glass cockpit and there's so many systems, that it actually is really neat. It actually makes it almost easier to fly as a simulator aircraft than the Cessna. The Cessna is kind of so real that it's actually more difficult to fly than this in the Xbox, in the sim. There is actually a TBM 940, or there actually might even be now a TBM 9 something else, even more advanced. But the 940, I know from Steve-O Knievo's YouTube channel in real life, is that now the TBM 940 also has auto throttle. So you can actually, once you advance the throttle so far, like even on takeoff, that then they become auto throttles, and they do everything for you. And then you have down there on the touchscreen, you can actually do like, okay, I want cruise throttle setting, and I want you know, land. It basically has auto throttles, which would make it great for a sim, right? Especially on the Xbox. All right, we're coming up here to the hold markers. All right, there's the hold markers. Let's come on the brakes. Now I'm going to go ahead and set the parking brake, which means we're going to get a warning that the parking brake is set. I'm going to go ahead and say, I understand the parking brake is set. I got it. All right, so let's go through some of our stuff to make sure. So heading indicator set for 010, so I like that. We've already got 14,000 feet, so we're going to climb straight out. And once we take off, ATC is going to tell us to go ahead and go over to departure frequency, which we'll do, and then they'll give us probably some more instructions, either tell us to continue on course or whatever they want to do. And so we'll do that. So let's go down here and just make sure. We don't need any de-icing right now or anything like that. Let's just do a final check of everything. Landing gear, parking brake, hot airflow, pressurization looks good. Let's go ahead and switch this back over to I was looking to see map setting north up. All right, so map looks good. I like everything we got with the map there. So we can go ahead and zoom out of the map, so you can see our route here tonight, taking us. Go ahead and zoom all the way as far out as I can. So we're heading west to Denver. All right, so let's kind of just go across here, make sure everything looks good. I like everything there. Everything is set up on the autopilot. Lights look good. So let's go ahead now that we're ready to take off. Let's go ahead and turn on landing lights. We could turn on the pulse lights, but we'll just do landing lights for now. Pulse is basically the landing lights. They pulse, they flash, and everything else now looks good because we have gone through our checklist. We can also, though, go ahead and turn off the floodlight. Oops. There we go. So floodlight is off, and we are ready to rock and roll. Let's go ahead and contact tower, and here we go.
Wichita Tower Daher, November Tree, 6 Uniform Mike, ready for IFR departure, runway 1 left.
Daher November Tree, 6 Uniform Mike, altimeter, 29.9er, 1 wind tree 57 at
Parking brake comes off.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 1 left.
All right, cleared. Let's do it.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 1 left Daher, November Tree, 6 Uniform Mike.
So we'll come out here. Basically, we got time, so we can look out here. I don't see anybody on. Runway looks clear. But the brake's a little heavy there. It's a little hard because you're trying to do so much just with the controller. All right, come to a stop. All right, let's go ahead now and apply power. So we're gonna let that power setting come up. Looking good. Power is set. Release the brakes, and we are rolling. Everything is looking good. I like what I see. Airspeed's alive. 60 knots. 70 knots. 80 knots. We'll rotate there and up we go. And we've got positive rate. So what we'll do is we'll just tap the brakes here and then come on up there on the gear lever. Everything is looking good. Coming up on 120 knots, I'm gonna go ahead and bring up the flaps. Let the plane accelerate to our climb of 160 knots. And I will just fly it up.
Daher uniform Mike contact Wichita departure on 126.7.
Roger that.
Good day.
Acknowledge the handoff.
126.7 Daher
We're still
uniform
flying the
Mike
plane
Mike.
here. Lots going on.
Wichita departure Daher, November tree, 6 uniform Mike is passing 2,300 feet, climbing
Lots going on
14,000
here.
feet.
Daher November tree, 6 uniform Mike Wichita departure altimeter 29.901. Continue as
All right.
planned.
So we're continued as planned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start a left turn here to get on course. You can see this weather we've got. So I'm still flying it here. We're at 160 knots, but I am still flying it by the controller. And away we go. Now you can look at the center map. That gives it kind of some spatial orientation here. So there we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically just going to fly to the little bit of the left of our heading there on our horizontal situation indicator and let that needle there, that center. So as we're climbing up here through 5,000 feet. See, a lot of things are happening now in this aircraft. Unlike the Cessna, a lot of things are happening real fast here. So one thing I can do here is I can go ahead and center the heading bug on what we've got. And now let's go ahead and activate the autopilot. So the autopilot is on. And now we'll go ahead and activate the heading bug. Look at this, breaking out of the clouds. Oh yeah. All right, go ahead and turn off ATC. Look at that. Oh, that is amazing. Oh, look at that. This is on the Xbox Series S. Absolutely amazing. All right, let's go ahead and kind of get a little closer to the instruments here. That way we can see what's going on. So we're climbing out now on heading mode. Climbing up at 160 knots all the way up to 14,000 feet using that the mode on the autopilot, which is flight level change, which tells the plane to create a pitch at such a level to go ahead and maintain 160 knots. We're getting close to getting on course here, so I'm going to go ahead and back out here and come up here and turn off our lights. We're also high enough here where I don't think we need the inertial separator anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. That basically is a valve that opens up to allow air, water, debris, snow, and all that to bypass some of the jet engine, the turbine part of the engine. So that way if you ingest that, so we don't need that. We're high. We're going through a little bit of clouds here, but nothing that I would say would have hail or anything like that in it. So we'll just continue to climb out. You can also see here that our course needle is centering, and we're on heading mode. Oh no, we're not on. Why are we not on heading mode? There we go. Now we're on heading mode. We were just on basically wings level mode, but basically the same thing. For us, we can't turn it, but that's what it is. And so now that needle's centering, we can come over here and go ahead and click on nav mode, and now the airplane will make a turn to the right.
Daher uniform Mike contact Kansas City Center on 118.35.
All right, 11835, that was for us. So we'll acknowledge that.
118.35 for Daher uniform Mike.
All right, go ahead and turn the COM 1 to that, and let's talk to him.
Kansas City Center, Daher November tree, 6 uniform Mike is at 10,600 feet, climbing
It's us,
14,000
going on up.
feet.
Daher November tree, 6 uniform Mike Kansas City Center altimeter 29.901. Continue as
All right.
planned.
So we don't need to acknowledge that, but I can bring it up. There's no acknowledgement of that, so we're going to 14,000 feet. Climbing at 160 knots. That'll be basically our main climb speed for the flight is 160 knots. So you can see it's beautiful now up here. We got out of the weather, It's one nice thing about instrument flying. Look at that. Look at that. This is the Xbox Series S. That is amazing.
SkyWest 5737, contact Kansas City Center on 127.8. Good day.
I mean, come over here and you look. So the top numbers here kind of give you some stuff. So the distance here we got to go. Ground speed, 174 knots. Don't worry, we'll get faster once we get up higher and level. So, all right, starting to level off here. So I'm gonna go ahead and come back on the power just a little bit. Again, with this aircraft, you don't have to press the A and B button as much as you have to on.
Dollar uniform Mike climb and maintain flight level 240.
All right, 240. Let's go ahead and acknowledge that.
Climb and maintain flight level 240 Daher.
All right, so what we'll do is we'll come over here. And you'll see that number right here rise. So here we go. 240. So that's 24,000 feet. And now we've already programmed in our flight level change. So if we just go back into that mode, the plane will automatically pitch up with this power setting. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of throttle just because I took out some throttle there as we were leveling off. So now add some throttle and now we'll just pitch back up. So now you can see the plane is back slowing down to 160 knots, but it's also now climbing to flight level 240. Amazing. It's a lot more fun. There's going to be a lot more stuff going on because when we fly visual, we don't really have to talk to anybody. We've just got some rules to maintain. And so you kind of just get up there, fly, listen to music and all this here. And, you know, now that we're going to get above 18,000 feet, we're going to have to go back to standard pressure, 29.92. We always need to have an ear for ATC because they might, you know, have us deviate somewhere. So we're passing through 16,000 feet. Here, I'll come over here off the nose and then look down a little bit so you can see the instruments a little better. So we're passing through 16,400 feet, climbing at about 2,000 feet per minute at 160 knots. On nav mode with the GPS, so we'll get up here, see if they let us climb to I think I put in for our final climb altitude, our final cruise altitude of 30,000 feet. So I think 31,000 feet is service ceiling for this aircraft, so we shall see. We might get a warning. One of the things that seems to happen on this airplane quite a bit is we might get this right here, this differential pressure to redline, and that is the pressurization. Because we just climb so fast that the system can't maintain or can't keep up, and so because I've been when I was practicing this, I was climbing at like 140 knots. So that's why I decided to do 160 knots, and maybe the climb wouldn't be as fast, and so pressurization could keep up. So okay, we're above 18,000 feet, so let's go ahead and go here and click this, which takes us back to standard. I'm not sure if we can click this one. No. So that goes back to 2992, because above 18,000 feet, we basically set to standard pressure, 29.92 inches of mercury. And here we go. Everything's looking real good. So we can't go ahead and turn on some music here, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn on some music. I'm just gonna keep it kind of down on the down low, you know what I'm saying? Keep it on the chill side. So let's just turn the music down, have it kind of in the back. I'm actually gonna go ahead, since we're up here at cruise, oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and switch also to the funky headphones. If you got snacks, eat them. Oh, eat them. Go back here in the back. Tonight's snack of choice, dots. pink lemonade. It's a little weird sitting back here. Kind of don't like it, really. I can't see what's going on. 22,000 feet. Look at that. That is amazing. Go ahead. There we go. Maybe that would be pretty good there. Alright, let's get inside where it's not so noisy, huh? There we go. We got our tunes on now. As we climb up 240, we're going to start leveling off here. So if we want to, we can come up here, we can go ahead and turn on our checklist. And we come over here, we can go to cruise. So altimeters check, everything else, de-ice we don't need, inertial separator, lane lights, everything's looking good, so it's all on us now. So we come over here, 91% on the torque. RPMs look good, NG looks good, ITT looks good, oil pressures, and everything looks good.
Dollar uniform Mike climb and maintain flight level 300.
There we go. We're going up to 300, 30,000 feet. Let's acknowledge that while we got our tunes on.
Climb and maintain flight level 300, Daher uniform Mike.
Alright. So let's come over here so I can even see it better. Sitting back here like this, it's hard to see. So 2999, there we go. There we go, 30,000 feet. Hit flight level change. Here comes the nose, pitching for that 160 knots that we've already had programmed in. Check the autopilot, GPS mode, flight level change, going to 30,000 feet. Everything looks good. We got 222 miles to go until we get to don't worry. Once we get up here, we're gonna get some speed probably. Well, we might be going into a headwind. I'm not really sure. Not really sure what could happen here. You know, now I got the sun in my eyes. Sun's in my eye. I think I need my shades. There we go. Now we can play around with some systems here, so let's see. We can come over here and PFD. Let's see, bearing 1 we want on GPS, bearing 2 we'll put on nav 1. Speed bugs for landing, yeah, we'll turn them all on just so we have them. Those are little markers on our airspeed indicator, tells us about stuff. So rotate, VX, VY, approach. So I'm going to go ahead, I don't need all these. I'm going to go ahead and just keep the approach speed on, 85 knots, so we know where that's at. Let's back that up. Let's see what else can we do. Minimums. I really don't know what the minimums will be.
Uniform Mike contact Kansas City Center on 118.8. Good day.
Let's go ahead and acknowledge that.
Going to 118.8 Daher uniform Mike.
Alright, we'll turn to it.
Kansas City Center, Daher November Tree, 6 uniform Mike is passing flight level 275, climbing flight level 300.
Up we go.
Daher November Tree 6 uniform Mike Kansas City Center, continue as planned.
There we go. Continue as planned. We're just heading out now. Climbing to 30,000 feet. We're passing through 28,500 feet at 160 knots. Everything is looking real good. And we've got a hell of a headwind. So that sucks. We have a 60 It's not a direct headwind, but it's off the left. 63 knot headwind. I should have flown from Denver Centennial to Wichita. We would have been screaming. Yeah, we're coming up on 30,000 feet, so we'll autopilot, get that nose down, we'll level off, and then we'll go ahead and get it up for cruise and head on over here to Denver Centennial, see what the weather's like in Denver Centennial. Get up here and just cruise along, listen to the tunes. And come over here and go ahead and also bring back up our flight plan. So there's our flight plan. Oh, thing scrolls kind of weird. So it's like 24 miles before we get to one of our first waypoints. We are now leveling off. Ground speed is 250 knots. Sure beats the Cessna. What's up, Mom? It is open. Had a passenger come in, my mom, who wanted her booze opened up, but it was already open. She's funny that way. Maybe she drinks too much. Huh? Well, you can definitely see, if we come over here, look at this headwind, this crosswind we've got. We're heading this way, 263, but 275 is our course. So a 12-degree differential up here to keep us on course. That is amazing. All right, we're up here. We can chat now. We can talk about all kinds of stuff. Just gotta listen to ATC. Make sure we don't miss anything with ATC. Just monitor the aircraft. See what we like. Like I said, we've got some. We climbed up nicely, so we didn't have any type of problems with our pressure differential and our pressurization. Airplane.
Mike, contact Kansas City Center on 124.4. Good day.
124 decimal for Daher uniform, Mike. Kansas City Center, Daher, November tree, 6 uniform, Mike, flight level tree 00.
Daher, November tree, 6 uniform, Mike, Kansas City Center, continue as planned.
All right, so all's looking good. So as we basically cross the country or go from Kansas to Colorado, the reason why we're having to change frequencies is because as we move across the country, there are basically repeaters for ATC to talk to us. So as we fly, we need to talk to a different just frequency. A lot of times it actually can be sometimes the same controller. It's just a different frequency that we need to dial into. So, or it might be actually that we're leaving their radar section and going to another controller's radar section. So, but yeah, everything's looking real nice out here. Look at this. Oh, look at that. That is real nice. So we can come back here as if you're a passenger, huh? Look out the window. Kind of got a wing in the way. You know, that's one nice thing about the Cessnas. They're high wing. You don't have this. But I guess I could set you up as being the co-pilot. Come on. There we go. There. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it's pretty neat because, you know, on Flight Sim you can actually put a HUD on the screen that on these views too, and the external view, so you can still get all your flight information. But I've turned that off so it's a little bit more study level. Looking real good. I'll zoom out all the way. So we are 184 miles before we get to that waypoint. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this game coming out tomorrow. Like I said, I've got it scheduled for 4 o'clock, but tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo. So we're gonna go lunch, and then I will start streaming the Trek to Yomi at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then also probably do a night stream because, again, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Saturday is Aunt Cindy and my 28th wedding anniversary. So I will not be streaming Friday or Saturday. There's a chance I might stream Sunday night, but I won't schedule that until I know exactly what kind of the schedule is. But we're going to go out of town, and so for Friday and Saturday night in Voyager, right here, Voyager, our little teardrop trailer. So we're going up to a neat place that is a adults only, with full dog, we want to call it dog campground. So dogs are allowed. Our campground, or our campsite, is fully fenced. There's like 4 dog parks, a dog pond. So it's literally called Four Paws Kingdom. So that is where we're whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, hit some turbulence there. Did you see that? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's go ahead and just check everything, make sure everything's okay. Because sometimes when you have a bad kind of turbulence like that, everything's looking good. The autopilot can disengage. So everything's looking good. Ground speed, 277 knots. We'd be well over 300. If we're going the opposite way, we'd be well over 300 knots ground speed because of that wind we've got. Right now we've got a 77 knot crosswind coming off the left nose. So that's not helping us any. And once we get out here, we can talk to ATC, or listen to, not ATC, but we can listen to the weather on the second comm channel. See what the weather's like over in Denver. And because Flight Simulator, even here on the Xbox, is completely modeled, that you can use the real world, we've already done this before, use the real world navigation chart. So I've got Sky Vector up over here so I can look at Denver Centennial, and I can see then, you know, the layout of the airport, frequencies, the instrument approaches, all that kind of stuff beforehand. So everything's looking really good. But yeah, so we hit that little bit of turbulence. Kinsley Airport down there below us. Man, can you imagine what it would, could you just imagine what it would be like to own an aircraft like this? This is just brilliant. I'll probably fly some of the other airplanes. I mean, there's some other YouTubers. I just like the idea. To me, you know, what do they say? Not mimicking. What do they call it? What do they call it when you do this, like the same thing? Is this, you know, source of flattery? But, you know, like Steve-O Knievo that flies the Caravan, and also here the TBM, which are both modeled here in the flight sim. It would be neat, and it would be, I would think it would be kind of flattering to recreate some of his flights that he's done. There's also, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the music here. There's also like Beach Baron Pilot, who also I like on YouTube. There's Skyline Baron Pilot, who flies. She's amazing. And so there's these just amazing pilots out there that do YouTube, and since their planes are actually modeled Trent Palmer, right now I got a problem with the marketplace, so I can't do any purchases, but like Trent Palmer, he has the Freedom Fox.
Mike contact Kansas City Center on 125.2. Good day.
Going to 125.2 Daher uniform, Mike. Kansas City Center, Daher, November tree, 6 uniform, Mike, flight level tree 00.
Daher, November tree, 6 uniform, Mike, Kansas City Center, continue as planned.
All right, so just changing frequencies, nothing big. But you got these other YouTubers that fly in real life, and their planes are actually modeled in the flight sim, so you could recreate some of their flights. And that would be amazing. To me, that would be flattering, you know, to say you have a real plane and you go fly, then people are recreating their flights in here. And eventually, hopefully, in the Xbox version, Flight Sim gets their failures and stuff done, so that way you could actually have it where you could program in the sim where, you know, all of a sudden you have where the engine fails or oil or landing gear fails. That way you could actually kind of recreate some of these incidents and accidents that happen, like Juan Brown does, the commercial airline pilot, in his Blanco Lirio channel, or I can't, Dan Griver, is that his? I can't, but who does his web page or his YouTube channel is Probable Cause. You know, so you can really kind of learn from some of the accidents and incidences, or even just the flights that people do. So to me, that would just be amazing. All right, let's just go ahead and do a check here, make sure everything looks good. So everything looks good here in the green. Haven't had any problems here. Fuel looks good. Volts look good. Trim is all looking, that trim is looking real nice. Oh yeah, amps right there. Amps are in the green, I guess. Not really sure. I mean, we've got the generators on. Everything's kosher up there, so we're good there. All right, dummy panel looks clear. So 150 miles to go. GCK. What is GCK? Let's come over here. As we fly out. Trying to find out here. Where's my Wichita? There we go. So we took off of here out of Wichita. Trying to see what, well, I will just search for it here. On here it is, I'm trying to find out what airport that is. So, Kilo Golf Charlie Kilo. So, Kilo Golf Charlie Kilo. It is Garden City. So we are about, well, this leg, we're going to basically we're going west and then we're going to make a turn to the north. So we're about halfway in terms of latitude. Or, sorry, longitude, east-west. We're about halfway already once we pass that Garden City. But you can start to see we're getting some other stuff here since we're zoomed so far out. So here's Garden City. 287 knots. So much quicker. So much quicker than that damn Cessna we've been flying. But you know, you get up here. I mean, this is a neat thing because you can come up here and you can chat, you can talk. You know, you can almost have like a podcast up here. I can understand why these guys like to fly the big commercial airliners. I mean, you come up here, you know, you fly. They do it on VATSIM, where it's basically where you have other humans who are the air traffic controllers. Can't do that on Xbox, so that's why I talk to the AI ATC. So, yeah. Well, we come up here, have a nice flight, talk about what's going on. Well, yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this new game. Trek to Romy. Looks very interesting. It has some combat, but it's a very interesting. It's like one of those. It's a platformer, and it's like a mix of 3D. It's very interesting. So, and I'm thinking maybe I can get it completed almost in a day if I do it over 2 live streams. And since I won't be able to live stream over the weekend because of my anniversary, amazing. That I'm going to do an afternoon and a night. So stream at 4 till maybe about 6, about 2 hours, and then come back at 8, and then go ahead and stream for 3-4 hours there, and maybe see if we can complete the game. So I'm not sure how much of there's a story. I have no idea really. I've just seen some gameplay, and it looks amazing. So it should be pretty good here. So. But yeah, nice flight here so far. Get above the weather, and it's really nice. So we can take a look at some things, while we learn here. We can go ahead and look at the checklist. So once we're about ready to, so before descending, altimeters, fuel gauges, de-ice, inertial separator. So okay. What else have we got here? What else? Then it just went right into approach, huh? Before descent, yeah, then approach. And approach is basically altimeters, fuel gauges, de-ice, inertial separator on, landing lights, below 10,000 feet. So, okay, yeah, not much of a checklist. So we can basically do like a GUMPS check and just add lights to it. So. GUMPS, GUMPS, and we can just make it GUMPSL, but it's basically gas undercarriage mixture. We don't have to worry about that. Prop, seats and seat belts, and now lights. So you just want to make sure flaps are down, gears down, all that kind of stuff. So. You can tell, see, not much difference. I mean, the systems have to be different for the aircraft because we're flying so much higher. Right now we're, 5.5 miles or so above the ground. So we need pressurization, we need some of the earth stuff. And because we have the glass cockpit, there's a lot less buttons to push and all that. So it really becomes a monitoring system. And I just really like this panel. I like this aircraft. Like, again, it flies really, really good. using the controller. This is really, really good. So. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm going to turn the music back on here.
Generic 7 Sierra Hotel contact Kansas City Center on 134.0. Good day. for generic 7 Sierra Hotel.
Yeah, look at that. Contrails from another airplane. Hey, this is on Game Pass. You got an Xbox, it's on Game Pass. Teach yourself to fly. Amazing. Amazing. Sun's getting pretty low. We might be landing in weather and at night into Denver Centennial for our first flight. Woo! Make it challenging. Pretty nice view.
Air Shuttle Flight Niner 12 contact Kansas City Center on 134.0. Good day. Air Shuttle Flight Niner 12.
just enjoying the flight as long as I turn it off mute. But we are flying here. We're about half or past halfway here, past Garden City. So we're halfway between Wichita and Denver Centennial here at the TBM 930. Everything's looking real good. So we'll turn on some music. We got our drink. I got my dots. This is for our fifth flight here. Our fifth live stream on the old YouTube channel. First 4 flights from the Cessna 172 that I flew to get my private pilot's license. We recreated 4 flights that I did out of Prescott. Now here we are. I taught myself here how to fly the TBM 930 in Microsoft Flight Simulator on the Xbox Series S. And this is our first flight. Took off in some bad weather out of Wichita. Climbed up above it here and had a really nice flight. We had one bump there. One kind of just went through a pocket of turbulence up here at 30,000 feet. But other than that, it's been a real nice, easy flight. Just flying along, enjoying the flight. Listen to some music. Holcomb Airport. Look at that. There's Holcomb Airport out there. I can come over here on Sky Vector. Garden City. Syracuse. I'm not really sure where Holcomb City is. But it's out there somewhere. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and check, see what we've got going on. We've got 291 knots over the ground, indicating 199. And everything's tracking good. Looks like we got about 16 minutes here to get to our waypoint there of yay. So I can come down here, we can make sure we're on the panel, and there we go, turn it, zoom in a little bit. Don't need to be zoomed out so far. So everything's looking good. Yep, 77 miles. Takes about 16 minutes. Oh, looks like the weather might be clearing up. We might not have some bad weather. Like I said, that's one of the reasons why I chose this flight, because one, as I wanted to fly out of Wichita, because I did my internship when I was at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, my engineering internship at Cessna Aircraft Company in Wichita. And then I chose Centennial because actually my freshman college roommate at Embry-Riddle, he flew out of Denver Centennial. That's where he worked, and he flew out of, and where he got his private pilot's license. So I figured, hey, why not go between Wichita and Denver Centennial? Should have gone the other way because we would have had more of a tailwind. We could have been zipping along. But instead, we got this component of a headwind that's slowing us down. We're not even breaking 300 knots over the ground. We'd probably be doing 350 knots or so over the ground if we were going to the east. But it's okay. We're flying toward the sun here, so that's nice, heading west. We get a much longer sunset.
Contact Denver Center on 132.5. Good day.
132.5, here we go.
132.5, Daher Uniform Mike.
1 tree.
Denver Center, Daher, November tree, 6 Uniform Mike flight level tree 00.
Daher November tree 6 uniform Mike Denver Center continue as planned.
Gotcha. Don't need to acknowledge that. So what are we flying? This is what we're flying right here. TBM 930. Very nice. Look at that. Even the scratches on the window and stuff. That is amazing. Yeah, not too long here. We'll be making a right turn after that waypoint. Right here. So you can probably go ahead. Oh, we got a little bit of turbulence happening. There we go. Zoom in on that map so we can see. Things will start happening a little bit faster once we make that turn to the north. So, looking over here on Sky Vector. I think I'm looking over here at Sky Vector. There we are. So Lamar VOR, that's what that one icon there on the map, the big square coming up. That's Lamar VOR, and that's when we make a turn here then to the north. And then we'll have to see if I know how to use all the flight computer and all this kind of stuff, because we'll have to then, once they give us an approach, we'll go ahead and program in that approach. Don't know. I mean, based on what maybe the wind is at, maybe we're going to be landed to the north, so maybe we'll get runway 35 right. That's one we're going to ask them for, is 35 right. The wind looks like it's out of the... I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. So we can bring up ATC window and just... No, there's nothing that we need to do. Scroll down here to the bottom. Everything looks good. Go ahead and turn that off. Look at the beautiful... Look at that. Look at that. Look at that sunset. That's... Go ahead and what should I do here? I think I'm just going to go ahead and let it sit there for a little bit. Then I'm going to capture that. I have my Xbox Series S program. Gotcha. 1334.
133.4 for Daher uniform, Mike. Denver Center, Daher, November tree, 6 uniform, Mike, flight level tree 00.
Daher, November tree, 6 uniform, Mike, Denver Center. Continue as planned.
Everything's looking good. So I've got my Xbox Series S programmed in that every time I hit my little capture button, it captures 1 minute at 60 frames per minute. So I'm just letting it sit here and make a little movie of this. I mean, this is beautiful. So I go ahead and capture that. There it is. See, prepare and clip. Clip recorded. It's going to tell us it's uploaded to the Xbox network. Got a few little high-level clouds here. Might get in some bumps. Might have to back off to maneuvering speed then at about 155 or so knots. We'll see what happens here. I'm still amazed that this is Xbox. This is Xbox. That's amazing. Okay. Let's just go ahead and do a check. Oh, 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 oh. Did I kick off the autopilot? No, I didn't. Okay. Whew. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in. How far we got? How far do we have to go, though? So we're about at 8.5 minutes out. Looking good, looking good. I like it. Nothing wrong. Actually, what's wrong is I'm almost out of dots.
Denver Center Southwest 6812 is passing flight level 380, descending 10,000 feet. Southwest 6812 Denver Center, continue as planned.
Well, we got traffic up here with us. Look. Let's see if we can find them. Yep, look, there they are. There's a guy over there, back behind us. Now, how did I know that? Because they show up. See, there they are. Looks like they're going up to Denver. Probably Denver International, where we're going into Denver Centennial. Let's find them outside the window. Look at that. Look at their contrails. Again, that is amazing. But this is a console. We're doing this on a console. And this is the S. I will probably buy an Xbox Series X closer to the holidays, because there's some big name games coming out, and I want to make sure that they run, because right now I have to a lot of times switch back and forth from my external hard drive to the internal hard drive, because that's really kind of the downfall of this S. It doesn't have a big internal hard drive. So what you gonna do when they come for you?
Denver Center Southwest 3219 is passing flight level 380, descending 10,000.
Look at that. Look at this. Look at this.
3219 Denver Center, continue as planned.
Look at that. What? This is in a console.
Southwest 6812, contact Denver Center on 132.5. Good day. Going to 132.5, Southwest 6812.
Just amazing. The graphics, just amazing. And the whole simulator. And... all right, I'm gonna come over here. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit more. Yeah, I like that. We can really see the map moving now. All right, let's see if we can bring up ATC. Com 2. No, I can't really, it's not letting us tune to anything because we're up here. So we'll let it be. We'll let them give us instructions. Come over here. I'm going to look at the chart here just to kind of get an idea where we're at. So I see where we're heading. I see Lamar there, VOR. Now I'm looking at the VFR chart, and we're on instrument, so we're at the low-level instrument chart. So we're on a different airway than what's showing up on the chart. but the VORs and stuff are showing up obviously on the VFR, because that's what the VORs are mainly used for, is for VFR navigation, or it's for low level navigation, excuse me. So everything's looking good. Like I said, I see where we're at. We're about to make a little bit of a turn here to the north. Start heading up toward Denver. So we can come over here and we can, sun's kind of going down. See if I need my, nah, I don't think I need my sunglasses anymore. There we go. So 3 minutes and we're going to be starting to make our turn here, it looks like. So in case you're wondering what my little streaming setup that I've got is, over here is my, I don't know what this is, maybe a 30-inch TV, I don't know, that I play on. I've got my laptop right here that I look at. Obviously the camera's up here. Hi, hello, 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 hello. Then down here, so I look at chat right here. Then down here is actually my little stream deck, my little Elgato stream deck, where I can change things, you know, and get real creative, you know what I'm saying? And so I can do all that kind of stuff. And then over here is my second monitor for my laptop. So that's kind of why a lot of times, like, I'm looking over here and I'm flying and all this kind of stuff. Then I'm looking at chat over here. Then I'm looking at you. Hey, what's up? And then down here I'm looking at Stream Deck. And then over here I'm looking at my second monitor. So that's my little setup. It's all kind of hodgepodge. Nothing fancy. Like I said, TV, laptop, old monitor, lights. Hello, lights. Big lights in the big city. All right, we're coming up here on our first waypoint. This is actually our first waypoint of the whole flight. It was basically what we do. We climbed straight to 14,000 feet, then pretty much right to 30,000 feet, then a straight line over here to this waypoint. Now we're going to be making a turn to the right, and then heading north up toward Denver. We're down here making this turn down by the city of Lamar. So, yeah. Everything's looking good. So there's Lamar. There's the airport of Lamar. Kilo Lima Alpha Alpha. And we're just about to get to our little Wayee Whiskey Echo Yankee Indigo. So we're just about to get to our first waypoint, making a turn here pretty soon. Then we'll speed up. We won't have so much component of a headwind. That'd be nice. So we can watch that right here. We can watch this. So we're about to our waypoint, making the turn to the north, and we're at 298 knots over the ground. We'll see what that speeds up to as we make this turn. Here we go. Here's the turn. We got 306, 308, 309, 310. As we get that wind to push us, just like a sailboat. I mean, just push us along. 315. Can we get 315? We got more turn to do. We're going to be probably about 330 knots once we're done this turn. I'm going to say 330 knots. Come on, come on. Get me there. 320. Come on, get me there. 321. I'm looking right there. That's where I'm looking, right there. 322. It looks like it's not gonna get us to 330. It's gonna be like 325, maybe max. There we go. Oh, 327, 328. There it is, 330. Look at that. Look at that. Look at this. Console. console again. It's console. Alright, I probably need to turn off the music once we start our descent, but as of now, we're good. We got to the next waypoint. We got 40 miles to the next waypoint. Alright, so what's going to happen when we get to this, when we actually get an ATC to start descending, is what we'll need to do is we'll still do a flight level change, but what we'll do is we'll actually pull the power back. So the plane wants to get slower than what we want it to basically be at, and so the nose will then pitch down. So we're gonna like get a power setting where it might want to fly at 150, but we're telling it to descend at 160, so it's gonna pitch the nose down to speed up to what we want it to in the descent or in the flight level change. So yeah, but it's been a beautiful flight. But we'll see. We'll see how this landing goes, this approach goes. Weather might be pretty bad. I'm not sure, so. Just trying to see about, you know. I guess I might need to figure out maybe how we can get weather. Maybe they just tell us? I don't know. I don't know how the AI works. Because I don't think I can... I guess we could try to dial into 120.3. So let's see if we can figure this out since we're up here at cruise. Let's turn that off. Let's come down over here. Navcom. It's one thing I haven't done yet. So let's see here. Right here. 1, 2, 0, 3. Transfer. What's this do? Okay, gotcha. Okay. Okay, monitor 1 and 2. Okay, I got it there. So we're on 1, but now we're monitoring both. So if we get ATIS, which is 120.3 according to the chart, maybe we'll be able to pick up weather as we get closer. We're pretty far away. So I see where we're going over now. We're going over Hugo VOR. HGO. So yes, I see where we're at now on the VFR chart. Right here. See it coming into our map? Yep, there it is. Hotel Golf Oscar. And I've only got... Oh, there's a straggler in there. I've only got 5 dots left. The stress of flying. My drink's almost gone too. I'm just trying to think about what this wind. This wind is almost like a straight crosswind. I mean, it's like coming straight out of... Yeah, it's not really. It's kind of looks like, 211, so it's got a southern component, so they might give us... So we might have to do like a RNAV approach. Runway 17 left. We just go ahead and see what that's all about.
And maintain flight level 220.
There we go.
132 decimal flights American 2201.
Descend and maintain flight level 220 Daher uniform Mike Mike.
All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to start coming back on the power. So the airplane is going to want to slow down. Oh, we're picking it up now. We're picking up. And now we're going to do altitude change. 220, 22,000 feet. And now flight level change. What we're going to do is have it do a 200 knot descent. Like I said, we pulled back on the power. So however we set the power is how much we're going to descend down. So I'm going to keep backing off the power here a little bit. There we go. All right, so what do we got? No, we got overcast. Temperature is above freezing. That's good. 3002. Okay, we got to remember that. 3002. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here. We're going to try this now. Okay, there we go. So now it should be on the ticker still, but we don't have to listen to it. I think I figured this out. Didn't really ever play around with anything like that. So, but that's what we've got. And let's see, what was landing departing? I didn't catch that though. 3002 right now. It might actually change time on us. Oh, so okay, so the ticker goes away even with that one. Okay, so we need to go. I'll turn it back on. There it is. Now, what if I turn it off now? There we go. Okay. Sky condition. Few clouds at 2,500 feet, ceiling 40. Okay, so it's not gonna be too bad. Well, yeah, it is. It might be. Yeah, it's not gonna be too bad. Altimeter 3002. Visual runway 17 left. Okay, so we got under the clouds. We got some VFR. So, but we're instrument flight. So, but yep. Oh, that's weird. They're doing 3.5 and all. We're doing a right turn here, just a little slight right turn. We got a little bit of a change at that waypoint there. We'll see what they give us. We shall just see what they give us. And they're basically giving us, telling us both runways. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but all right. So if we want to descend down faster, if I pull back the power here, the nose will pitch down even more to maintain our 200 knots. But we're 303 over the ground still. And then when we come up here, we'll need to add power. But look at that. Look at that. That is amazing. What? Look at that. Epic. Epic. Alright, passing, coming up on 24,500, going to flight level 220 or 22,000 feet. At which point we'll need to go back to our power settings. So here we are right now at 50% torque. So we'll go back to about 91% torque. We're at 24,000 feet, going to 22,000 feet. Descending down. This is a nice, easy descent. No reason to spill the martinis in the back. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this is for us.
Good day.
128.375 for Daher uniform, Mike.
All right, here we go.
Denver Center Daher, November tree 6 uniform, Mike is passing flight level 235, descending flight level 220.
Daher November tree 6 uniform,
Alright. Everything's looking good. 800 feet to go. Flight level 220. Now, one of the things that we'll need to do is we'll need to actually program in an approach here, probably. Well, they're going to give us a visual, so we'll see. They might just give us vectors. Alright, we're coming up here on 22,000 feet. Plane starting to level out. Oh. Here we go. Let's go ahead and acknowledge that.
Descend and maintain 8,000 feet. Daher uniform Mike Mike.
Alright, 8,000 feet it is. And we'll go to flight level change. Then we'll come back on the power. So before we were at about 50% of torque. I'm going to come back here now to about 40%, 44% torque, 200 knots. So now we're doing 2,400 feet per minute. Screaming down to 8,000 feet here. Look at that. That is amazing. I'm amazed that this is on a sim on the Xbox.
Daher uniform Mike Mike contact Denver Center on 125.905. Good day.
Okay, all right, I got the handoff.
125.905. Daher uniform Mike Mike. Denver Center Daher, November tree, 6 uniform Mike Mike, is passing flight level 190 descending 8,000
All right,
feet.
we're going down below 18,000 feet.
6 uniform Mike Mike Denver Center. Continue to quail as planned.
3002 on the barometer. Everything's looking good. Bring up ATC just to make sure. Yeah, we don't need to acknowledge anything. Look at that. That is just...
United 670 contact Denver Center on 128.375. Good day.
All right, everything's looking good. Getting some traffic though. See it on our map over there as we're coming up to Quail.
Line 1405, you are 50 miles south. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet. Expect vectors, ILS runway 7 approach. 128.375 United 670.
All right, visual approach though. We got this, no problems.
Descend and maintain 10,000 feet. Expect vectors, ILS runway 7 approach. Key line 1405.
No problem. No problem on the visual. I got this. We can go ahead and center our heading bug. We're descending through. Coming up on 15,000 feet. Going to 8,000 feet. Wind has really died down now, though. Must have been up getting a little bit of the jet stream or something up there. A few clouds, nothing bad here. Ah, man.
Southwest 2426 contact Denver approach on 119.3. Good day. Southwest 3219 contact
But we can dial in. We can dial it in. We can dial in the approach once they give it to us. All right, 12,000 feet, going to 8. All right, since we're hitting some clouds and some let's go ahead and turn on the landing lights. We're hitting some clouds, getting some traffic. So landing lights now are on. Nice sunset. All right, end of a song. Let's go ahead and turn off the tunes.
Southwest 2426 Denver Center altimeter 30.09er. Continue as planned. Southwest 2426 contact Denver approach.
We'll bring up ATC.
Good day.
See, it's pretty cool because you can request vectors to the next waypoint, so it would tell you. ATC would be like, hey, go this way.
119er decimal tree for Southwest 2426.
All right. 10,000 feet, going to 8. Eight is kind of the altitude for the initial approach fix if we were doing a instrument landing, so they might have us go that they may have us go to 7,800, but they might keep us right here at 8,000 before they give us the visual approach. All right, 900 feet to go to 8,000. Yeah, look at the weather really cleared up. It was bad leaving Wichita, but this is pretty out here. This is nice. All right, let's go ahead and add some power now. So you can see the torque, 72%. So keep it about 70. Yeah, about 70%. That'll give us over 200 knots here. You can also see that's neat right here because see that right here, RA, that's radar altimeter, so we're 2,200 feet above the ground. That's another reason why this aircraft is really neat, because you can actually watch that when you're landing, see how high you are, so, and decision height, but we're not doing any type of precision approach or anything like that here, so we don't really need it. Alright, let's come over here to our multifunctional display here and make sure, and we go ahead and zoom in. That way we can see more stuff happening. As we get down here, I turned the tunes off just so you know, so that way we weren't distracted by the music.
Denver Center Key Lime Tree 219er is passing 12,800 feet, descending 9,000 feet. Key Lime Tree 219er Denver Center altimeter 30.07, continue as planned.
Yeah, the weather really just got to open up a hole for us. We might get into some weather up here by the airport, but we'll see.
Denver Center United 1151 is passing 9,900 feet, climbing 13,000 feet. United 1151 Denver Center altimeter 30.06.
All right, let's just go through checklist here. Approach. Altimeters are set. Fuel looks good. De-ice, we don't need de-ice. Inertial separator, yep. Landing lights are on, so let's go ahead and turn on the inertial separator. This is now actually more for debris and birds. Now, but we got some rain, it looks like, coming up here, so. Oh. This is up. This is us. All right, 3275. Yep, see ya.
1 tree 2.75 for Daher uniform. Mike.
United 2028.
Denver approach Daher November tree 6 uniform. Mike 8,000 feet.
November tree 6 uniform Mike Denver approach altimeter tree 0.06. Continue to Foxtrot Quebec Foxtrot as planned.
All right, master caution because we turned on the inertial separator. That's all that was. I think we got some light.
Mike descend and maintain 7,800.
There it is. So I told you they might give us 7,800. Yep. Let's acknowledge that.
Descend and maintain 7,800 feet. Daher uniform Mike.
There we go. Just got a 200-foot descent. That's no problem. Just a little bump down. Yeah, see, I think that's lightning out there. Yeah, so we do have weather in the area, so we'll just have to see what happens here. They get busy. That's why I turned off the music. Everything is ready. So one of the things that is wrong with on the avionics is we can actually lower the takeoff flaps, so the first notch of flaps, and the landing gear at 175 knots. It's not on there. The white bar for flags or for flaps doesn't come until you're for the landing configuration, which is like 120 knots. So all right, so we are just cruising along here 1,700 feet above the ground, because obviously Denver's a mile-high city. So we are all set up. 7,800 feet is the initial approach fix on the chart here, so where we would enter the RNAV approach for 17. But we'll see what they give us. They should give us, I would think, 17 left, because that would be the runway closest to us heading south. But we'll see. We can come over here and zoom in a little bit more on our map. All right, just waiting for the next call. Definitely got some weather over by the airport over here to our left. So Aurora Air Park, huh? Pretty dark now. All right, well, there's Denver International out there, so we should be making a turn here pretty soon.
Daher uniform
Oh, here we go.
14 miles northeast. Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect
Oh,
vector
RNAV.
at runway 17 left approach.
So we'll acknowledge that.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect vectors RNAV runway 17 left approach. Daher uniform Mike.
Approach. RNAV 17 left. Load and activate. See what it does. Oh shit. There we go. All right. So got the call a little late, so I'm gonna go ahead and fly what it's gonna tell me to. It told me to maintain present heading and altitude, but because I was late there in activating the approach, kind of deviated a little bit, but we'll get back on course here. See if they yell at us here. Look at that, we're like looking right at Denver International. Look at Denver International out there. I guess I'm gonna go see what happens. This might ruin the whole flight. I'm not really sure, but I'm gonna go ahead and request for this instrument.
Denver approach Daher, November Tree 6 uniform. Mike requests destination change to Centennial.
That's what happens.
Daher, November Tree 6 uniform Mike.
Okay.
Cleared to Centennial Airport as filed.
Okay, good.
Squawk 0551.
Daher, November Tree 6 uniform
Okay,
Mike cleared to Centennial.
So basically, we got to remember that we got to we activate an approach. Just go ahead and get clearance for the approach.
Daher uniform Mike, read that correct. Radar contact 7,800 feet. Altimeter tree 0.04. Continue to Hotel Golf Oscar turning and following heading 130. Proceed on course climb and maintain 8,000 feet.
Oh, this might have screwed everything up. I'm not really sure.
Continue to Hotel Golf Oscar turning and following heading 130. Proceed on course climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Daher uniform Mike.
Daher uniform Mike, you are 13 miles northeast.
Okay, here we go.
Descend and maintain 7,800 feet. Expect vectors on a runway 17 left approach. Daher uniform Mike, descend and maintain 7,800 feet.
I got.
Descend
All right,
and
so
maintain
we kind of made the
7,800
ATC there a little
Expect vectors
squirrely,
on
but it's all right.
17 left approach. Daher uniform Mike.
All right, gonna start coming back on the power here.
Daher uniform Mike, you are 13 miles northeast of Centennial.
There you go. Contact
Maintain
tower.
present heading altitude. Contact Centennial Tower on 118.9er.
All right.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Tower on 118.9er. Daher uniform Mike. Centennial Tower Daher, November Tree 6 uniform.
All right, here we
Mike,
go.
12 miles north, inbound RNAV runway 17 left approach.
Slowing down a little bit more.
Daher, November Tree 6 uniform.
Altimeter 3004.
Altimeter tree 0.04, wind tree 53 at 7. Cleared RNAV runway 17 left approach.
Roger that.
Cleared RNAV runway 17 left approach. Daher
We got
uniform
this.
Mike.
All right. Let's go ahead and turn off ATC so we get a full view. Landing lights are on. Airport is in sight. All right, first notch of flaps, which is okay. We got speed check, no problem. We were below 175 knots. All right, that low-re, we're supposed to be at 7,800, so everything's looking good. So let's go ahead and just see low-re right there. We can come down here, we can zoom in. So at 7,800 feet, which we are at. We are turning inbound here. Airport is in sight. There's the two runways. 17 left. I see 17 left.
Follow the aircraft on final. Wind tree 53 at 7. Cleared to land runway tree 5 right.
3-5 right.
Cleared
That's like
to land
coming right.
runway tree 5 right, generic 9er Kilo Charlie.
That's like coming right at us. What? Alright, since this is visual, we're at Lowry. Autopilot comes off. I'm going to fly it all the way in now. Alright, let's go ahead and get set up. Gears coming down. Speed check under 120, full flaps.
Daher uniform, Mike, wind tree 52 at 7. Cleared to land runway 17 left.
Why they gave me 17 left, I have no idea. I got a tailwind. I guess I could have changed runways. I can tell them, but I'm gonna do what they say. Approach is about 85 knots, so I can add a little bit of power.
Daher uniform, Mike acknowledge. Last transmission.
Oh,
Cleared to land runway 17 left Daher uniform, Mike.
all right. This is full visual here. I am on the sticks. So we're 90 knots. It's all good. I think anything between 80 to 100 is good, so. They literally have an airplane landing right at us on 35 right, as we're landing on 17 left. I can see it out there. Alright, we're a little low. Gonna trim it up here a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I like that. It's better. A little slow. Add a little bit of power. Since I brought that, you can see that little bug that we put on the airspeed indicator right there, so we can see where approach is. We're about right at it, 85 knots. So we got a little visual indicator there. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and, in case we've got to do a go around here, I really don't like what we've got going on here with the airplane coming right at us. I'm going to set the heading bug, so in case we got to go to autopilot and do a missed approach. Alright, 3 green, flaps down, we're looking good. .95 knots, a little fast, come back on power. A little high. We got plenty of runway. Come back on the power. All right, airport's made. Go ahead, come back to flight idle. Gonna hold it right about there. Let it settle. Let it settle. Woo! Woo! All right, go into beta.
Daher uniform, Mike exit runway when able.
There we go. Of course, we put on, as you know, we put on the taxi ribbon. So it will give us the taxi. Very nice. Ooh, that was a nice landing. That was all visual. That was all on the sticks. All on the controller. Here's our taxiway.
Daher uniform, Mike contact ground on 121.8.
121.8 Daher uniform.
We get to the hold lines here. There they are. All right, we're clear. Let's come to a stop. All right. Let's go ahead and bring up the flaps. Let's go ahead and go in the cockpit to make sure. Flaps up, indicating up. Everything is looking good. Let's come up here. Go to taxi lights so we can see better. Let's go to ground. And let's go to request for parking.
Centennial Ground Daher November Tree 6 uniform. Mike request taxi to parking.
Daher November Tree 6 uniform Mike taxi to general aviation parking via taxiway Echo Alpha.
All right.
Taxiing to general aviation parking using taxiway Echo Alpha Daher uniform Mike.
What you can do is over here on the other side. Other side, we can come over here. We can go ahead and Bring up runway clear. What we got? Taxi lights are on. Navigation. We're gonna leave all that on because we're at night here. Trims, flaps are up. Everything's looking good. Hello, don't know what you're saying, but thumbs up because you are amazing. We have just finished our flight here. And we are looking good. Whew. Nice flight from Wichita over to Denver Centennial in the TBM 930. Our first flight here after flying 4 flights on live streams. So we are just now finishing up. Taxiing to parking. What's up, Cassandra? You are amazing. And here is parking. Oh, how do they want us orient? Yeah, well, you're not gonna get me. You're not gonna get me to be that oriented. Sorry about that, buddy. I'm just gonna park it just like this. You can move us around any way you want. It's at night. We're tired. All right, let's go in the cockpit here. All right, yeah, master caution. Parking brake is on. Got it. Parking brake is set. Exterior lights coming off. Interior lights, we'll leave those on. All right, fuel selector. It's coming to manual. AP, autopilot, and trims are coming off. Bleed for the pressurization is coming off. Little switch down here. Yep, master caution. Yep, I got it. I'm turning everything off. Okay. Bleed's off. All right. Let's go to flight idle, which we have been, so we're just gonna let it sit there. All right. We've kind of been the whole taxi's been at flight idle. Ooh, that sounds good. 2-piece Alaskan salmon. So we're gonna come over here, and now we're gonna go to low idle. There we go, low idle. Inertial separator comes off. Yep. Turn that off. All right, auxiliary boost pump. Yep. Gotcha. Master cautions. I understand. I know you're yelling at me, but I'm doing all this stuff. All right, auxiliary boost pump comes off. What else we got going on here? Okay, generator comes off, source comes off, crash lever down. Okay, got it. All right. Oh, I didn't. Okay, and there we go. Idle cut off, so I missed a step. Hee hee. Oops. All right, generator comes off, and source goes off, and that will conclude our flight because there's nothing else that we can do now because all the electrical systems are off. So there we go. That is all we can do. So there we are in the dark. Oh no, we're in the dark. So yeah, that was our flight from Wichita, Kansas over to Denver Centennial in the TBM 930. Took off in some bad weather. You can go back and you can watch it if you would like. The takeoff was, like I said, in bad weather, thunderstorms, rain. But it was a beautiful flight once we climbed up. We did our first IFR flight here. So yeah, it was amazing. So yeah, well, thanks for stopping by, both of you here that I see in chat at least. A few other people I think were watching but not chatting. But yeah, everything went real good. It was a beautiful flight. I like this airplane. We'll do some more during the day. But it was a beautiful descent. Man, it was a beautiful descent into Denver here with the sunset and all that. It was amazing. So, but yep, I will be streaming twice tomorrow. That's the plan, is tomorrow, because I'll be playing the new game Trek to Yomi that comes out on Game Pass here on the Xbox. Yes, I am playing on the Xbox. And so yeah, remember, thumbs up because you are amazing. And also, make sure you go over there, you click that like button if you do, because that helps activate the YouTube algorithm. Also, subscribe if you haven't, because that way you get to see when I'm going live and all that kind of stuff, or chime that bell and all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, with that, I will say, I'm your favorite gamer's favorite uncle. I am Uncle Mike. Good night. See you tomorrow. Bye. Yeah, that was an amazing flight. It was beautiful. Uh-oh, here comes Aunt Cindy right at the end. She like knows when to come in, say something. Here it comes. But I'll see you guys tomorrow.